Right, our next presentation is Catalyzing Graduate Student Research Dissemination, case study of a technical poster competition by Tim Becker, Joel Sikkema, and Nicole Oneyear. This is going to be a group presentation. First we'll hear from Nicole Oneyear, then Joel Sikkema, then Tim Becker's bad cleanup.
It's very important to increase the design life and reduce maintenance costs of new structures.
Increasing use of flash and concrete to navigate modification, modernization, and improved processing. Now,
this is Gada. I'm a construction engineering PhD student in the civil department. My PhD is mainly on the effect of culture, risk, and trust on the choice of dispute resolution methods in international construction contracts.
I'm a master's student working with Dr. Joel Sikkema. I study resuspension with Nicole Oneyear in a flume downstairs in Tower 5.
Hi, my name is ASEE, and I am a third-year PhD student here in the Department of Civil Construction and Environmental Engineering.
So today we'll give you some introduction and go over the purpose of our study, then give you some background, then go into tactics of what we did, some of the findings that we found from our poster presentation, some lessons learned, conclusions, and questions. So to start off, what is a catalyst? A catalyst is a substance that increases the rate of a reaction by providing an alternative pathway with lower activation energy. And it's something that's usually not consumed in the process. So we chose a poster competition as our catalyst for increasing research dissemination among our department. Why do we want to catalyze graduate student dissemination of research? For one, it's a critical step in the research process, and previous studies have found that it's often missed by graduate students especially. It allows professional growth and career development. Anyone looking for jobs knows that having published papers and conference presentations will help with that. It also leads to department reputation. We found out that one of the reasons that we came about holding a poster presentation was talking with our head of our graduate student council, and he mentioned that department rankings were based partially on the quality and quantity of peer-reviewed research. So dissemination is important because it allows, for one, others to review your work and see what's been done. It allows you to get critique and feedback on the work you've done, and it also allows for others to build on your research and continue on. So again, we chose a poster presentation for our catalyst for increasing graduate research dissemination, and many universities have poster competitions. If you type student poster competition into Google, you'll get more than 1 million hits easily. So here's a sampling of 6 engineering student poster competitions we found. They ranged in size from 16 to over 250 posters, and we found that a common theme among them, or the purpose, was to showcase research. We also found they all had typical formats, which involved students applying, submitting an abstract before they were accepted to submit or to present. Then they would have a showcase, something like a poster session at a conference where they would present, and there was usually judging with cash prizes awarded. Common constraints we found were time and money. People don't have a ton of time to organize these, and money is a limited supply and makes it hard to continue putting these events on. So now Joel will talk to you a little bit about how we would address these.
So, thanks Nicole for setting the stage. Before Tim goes ahead and talks about our results, I want to talk just briefly about some of the basic mechanics and some of our tactics, the strategies we employed that we thought were particularly worthwhile in making this research and showcase, or this showcase a success. If other students are considering doing something similar, we'd say plan about 20 weeks, 60 to evaluate, to collect data so that you can recalibrate for the next year and make sure that your poster competition is even more successful, perhaps has a stronger link to dissemination of student research outside of college. I'm not going to go into the details of the specifics of what's on our Gantt. I'd say if you're a student looking to plan a similar event, reference the paper, maybe use it as a starting point in your work. Now the second thing I'll talk a little bit about is some of what we feel are innovative ideas. Things that are either unique to our showcase or things that are particularly linked to dissemination. What I'd like to you can see the list up there above, student organized, sustainably funded. That's the way we funded our research competition was we developed good relationships with the endowed faculty. They've got a continuing source of funding, so they next year when we ask them, they can't say, oh, it's a tight year. It's there again. So hopefully in our next year, the full budget approval process will be simple. Then we think we can reduce how much time it consumes for us to plan. Obviously, we have things like making it a conference-like setting. We want it to be professional. But then the other, and then feedback distribution, that we feel is particularly important. Really, we want this to be an experience that reduces kind of the height of the hurdles for students who are wanting to present, outside of the college. So if they can get feedback, they can learn perhaps where they went wrong, where they can improve their skills in order so that they can both represent the college well and it'll contribute to their future careers. And then the final thing I want to mention is attendance incentives. So we can have this competition and it could be, that high quality posters, but if no one comes, it's not a challenge for the students. We wanted a diverse set of people at the showcase in order to give challenging questions to the students. So we work with faculty to make it a required part of the course, or we offer door prizes, and we have nice food, all that sort of stuff. So I think I'll let Tim continue then, and he'll talk about our results.
Okay, we collected our findings in two different ways. As part of the event, we had a People's Choice Award. So that was one of the reasons that was, I think, a bit innovative. The researchers, the faculty could evaluate the posters, but then it could just be whoever you thought you liked the best. And so one idea is just get your friends to come vote. You can win $100 just for being the People's Choice. But in order to vote, we had to fill out a survey. So we collected 105 surveys at this event. We think we probably had about 125 to 130 people there. So we had a lot of surveys. We were happy with that. So that was one way we collected data. Then the second was we had a post-event survey with the poster presenters. So we had 60 presenters. Many of them you saw introducing themselves at the beginning of our video. And 10 of those individuals were willing to complete a survey for us. And so here's the evaluation of that 10 in terms of how much value was the showcase for them and their future presenting research. And so we're very happy with the distribution. There's improvement that could be happening, but obviously skewed to the right side we want it to be. And then also the other question displayed here is, did this help you in your preparation for the future? And overwhelmingly, 8 said, extremely, beneficial to them. And then just other points then from our largest surveys, 94% of the 105 people said we should do it again. So as we go back to the department chair, that's a pretty strong message that it was worth having again. 98% said that the posters and the research were good to excellent. Again, that was very good. 60% said they'd be willing to do a poster again. So we had 16 and we were proud of it. So if they're going to have that many, we're really going to have our hands full. And then one of the things that we thought was important was to try to encourage undergraduates, use this with undergraduates to kind of understand what research is going on. And we thought, well, maybe this would get some people thinking about graduate school who wouldn't otherwise. 54% out of the 34 undergraduates who filled out the survey said this event actually made them start thinking more about graduate school. So we were very pleased to hear that. If that was 17, it'd be really very good for us. So then we went through the lessons learned with the people. The conference setting was successful, Joel talked about. One of the things that we learned is that the judges were really rushed trying to review 16 posters in about a 100-minute period. And so we thought that to solve that, we might be able to distribute PDFs of the posters out front or out ahead, and maybe they could do some of their critique off of just the poster and understand the research, and then when they were actually meeting with the presenter, it'd be more about their oral skills and delivery. So then, just in closing, our model is sort of the research showcase allows us to get people lower the heat of hydration, if you will, get the catalyst going and do brainstorming and get this going. But once we had the survey or had this showcase, one of the big pieces we need to then show them where they can go with it. So we got them to do the poster, and now they have it. But now the next step is, okay, here's $1,000 to go somewhere, or the faculty saying, here are 3 conferences in the next year. You may not know about them, but I do. I get emails all the time. So to try to then push them from the poster actually to go out and disseminate. If we give them attendance, then they're recognized for being there, just like we kind of feel like it was a success here. Here we are disseminating what we did. You all know we're at Iowa State. Hopefully that then leads to recognition of Iowa State in our department and sort of cycles again. We're very happy to take your questions. Here's a few photographs from our event. Okay, thank you.
How do you convince faculty to get their time to this program session?
Yeah, it really wasn't much of a challenge. Our department chair and our Doge sort of said, supported it. And then some of the lead faculty that could give me some money towards it were involved. And then many of the faculty sort of encouraged their students to do it.
But really the amount of time required for faculty participation is not a lot.
We made the judges for the most part.
Yeah, and really that's just an email. It's not live. We give them the food at least, and we gave them, and we had external judges. Those ones we gave them basketball signed by the team. So that was better.
That was the start. Yeah,
we're hoping the faculty would go first.
Was there a component of this that had to do with poster preparation, oral communication, and development?
We gave really similar guidelines that on program package in terms of, don't make your words real small and use bulleted lists and those sorts of things. But really, we didn't want it to be. We tried to give some things, avoid doing this, but we don't want it to be too, specific. Make exactly this sort of thing, because really part of it is, okay, the students will come together. They'll see what looks like a good poster. They'll learn from each other, rather than us saying this is exactly a good poster. Because really, we're students too, so we're not experts at all in this.
I think that was one of the items that came back to the survey. So some of the students say it would be nice if the department or someone offered more skills in that. And our in-trans is a professional in our transportation research area who does that. And so we need to kind of direct them. I don't know, we as a student organization are going to take on that training, but directing them to the right people would be very helpful. And I remember that from one of the surveys. So thank you.
Yeah, it's actually a comment based on that question. We have a similar undergraduate research program where the students do poster sessions, and we relied on our teaching and learning center. They had a graphic designer who came in and just did a 1-hour session with the students on good ideas for poster design. And it was amazing how the presenters themselves and the attendees all commented on how much better they were than previous years, and it really encouraged the students, that idea of going on to the next level. It really got them excited about doing something else. So we, at my institution, the Teaching and Learning Center,